Welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called Bear's Braid. This book is written by Joelle Bearstail, who is Menden Hidatsa and Arikara, and illustrated by Denise Tadlock, who is a member of the Bay Mills tribe of the Chippewa Indians. I hope you enjoy this book today. Now let's get ready for story time.
I'm along, it's story time with So-O's tales in gentle rhyme. Books that dance and voices sing, adventures bloom on every wing. From distant lands to backyard fun, there's magic here for everyone. Gather round, let's take a look at the wonders in a book.
Bear's Braid. Time to get up for school, Canuck. Your mom and dad left for work already, Grandma yelled. Bear groaned. Okay, Atika, I'm so tired though. Canuck Bear and Atika Grandma addressed each other in Sonish, Arikara every morning, bright and early. Well, began Grandma, you shouldn't have been up so late playing your games, Canuck. Now, pish. Bear hurriedly got dressed and sighed. I know. Bear sat down in the same chair he always did, and Grandma took her place behind him to begin braiding his hair. Grandma smiled and said, Ah, your hair is getting longer and stronger, my boy, just like you. Just think, Canuck, last year you were a big boy in the little school. Now you're the little boy in the big school. Bear laughed nervously. Ha ha, yeah, sixth grade is busy. Lockers, changing classes, plus there are way more kids than last year. It sounds like you have a lot of new friends to make. There you go now, don't miss the bus. Grandma finished Bear's braid and shuffled him out the door. Bear ran to the bus and found his usual seat next to his best friend Ben. Hey Ben, I got the new NBA 2K game. Have you played it yet? Yeah, at my cousin's house. It was cool. I was dunking all day. Suddenly they heard a nasally voice behind them say, Ooh, look at me. I'm Miss America. Navin and Kane made mocking hand gestures as they pointed at Bear and Ben's braids. Yeah, said Kane, your hair is longer than my sister's. Bear and Ben looked unhappily at each other. Ben rolled his eyes and sighed. Leave us alone. We're just sitting here, not bothering anyone. The bus driver looked at the boys through the rearview mirror, and Navin and Kane sat back in their seats. When the bus finally dropped the boys off at school, Bear was still bothered by the teasing. Ben nudged his friend and said, Don't worry about what they say, Bear. Look, we both have warrior hair. The boys giggled proudly. When school let out and the boys went home, Grandma greeted Bear with a hug and a smile. How was school today? She asked. Bear slouched a little. It was okay, he muttered, an edge in his voice. Ben and I got teased about our hair. They said we look like girls. Grandma sighed. Well, that wasn't very nice, was it? No, said Bear. I was mad, but Ben said we have warrior hair. That's right, said Grandma. The family sat down together for dinner. Dad was excited and asked, Ready for hunting season, Canuck? Oh, yeah, said Bear, and Ben is ready too. He got a new rifle and just finished his safety course. Yep, Dad nodded encouragingly. You know being out there is nothing like your video games. You have to always be aware of your surroundings. The next morning, when Grandma was braiding Bear's hair, she said, You know, Canuck, Ben is right about you guys having warrior hair. We grow our hair because our ancestors, your great-great-great-grandparents, had long hair. We honor them by keeping with these ways. It is our strength and our connection to this earth. Just like your name, Canuck, bear. You have a strong name. You're resourceful and smart like a bear. My name, Juneberry Woman, was given by my grandpa for a reason. Even Ben's name, Eagle. There are reasons for our names, our hair, and the way we live. As long as you are learning and understanding this, then everything will be okay. Don't let the boys get to you, Bear. Maybe they're just curious. Now make sure you smudge before you go. Let's ask for good thoughts and feelings today. On the bus, Ben and Bear heard Naven teasing yet again. "Oh, look, it's the long hair wig boys," jeered Naven. "If I was you, I would cut my hair," smirked Kane. "Well, why do you have short hair?" Ben shot back. Naven shrugged and said, "My dad said only girls have long hair." He reached up and yanked Bear's braid. Ben jumped up and pried Naven's hands away, but the two boys were still laughing as Ben and Bear slunk into their seats, tears hot on Bear's face. "Now watch these little tattletales, Naven," said Kane. "They'll probably run right home to Mommy." They are not being nice at all. The boys kept their heads down as they got off the bus and walked into the school. "Maybe we should tell Miss Smith," said Ben. "She'll understand and she won't make it a big deal." Bear shot back, "But it is a big deal. I just don't want David and Kane to think I'm a baby. They will be meaner if they get in trouble for this." "I know this is a big deal, Bear," said Ben. "These boys don't have any right to touch our hair or to be teasing us like this. We need to tell a teacher, and they will make them quit." "I'll think about it," said Bear. "I don't want to make this worse." When school let out and Ben and Bear got back on the bus, they were relieved to see open seats in the back, far away from Naven and Kane. "How was school today?" asked Grandma. Bear held back tears and looked at his plate while saying, "I want to cut my hair." Everyone stopped eating and looked at Bear. "What do you mean, Canuck?" asked Dad. "You love your hair." "I do," said Bear, "but I keep getting teased about it. It's not worth it." "What happened?" asked Mom. Bear sighed. "Two boys on the bus are always teasing me and Ben about our hair, and they even pulled my braid." "Let's go into the living room," Grandma said. Bear got up and followed her. Grandma began her story. "You know, Canuck, I was almost your age when I was sent away to boarding school, hundreds of miles away from my home. The first thing they did to me when I arrived was cut my braids off. They did this to everyone there. They wanted us to have short hair like them. They wanted us to talk like them. We couldn't speak our language, and if we did, we were punished. This wasn't a good time for me. A lot of bad things happened there. I lived without my mom and dad, your great grandparents, for years. I did not want to go to that school, but we had no choice. They tried to take all of our teachings away." "I didn't know all of that happened," said Bear. "That is like a nightmare." "Yes, but I made it, and I'm still here," said Grandma. "But it breaks my heart that you are being treated this way, and it hurts to know that you want to cut your hair." "I don't really want to," said Bear. "I just feel like if my hair was short, this trouble would go away." Grandma said, "I tell you this story because that braid you have is strong. You are strong. You have it in you to get through this. That braid is your power. Don't let anyone take your power." Now, I don't know why these boys keep doing this, but one thing is for sure. You guys don't deserve this, and it is never right for anyone to be mean to you like that. Sometimes people make fun or have a bad attitude towards things they don't understand. You in bed just need to think of what makes you most happy. Hunting with your dad, praying, me, your mom, and aunties picking berries and drying corn, singing and dancing at powwows. This is what makes us who we are. I know your mom and dad are going to want to go to the school in the morning and talk to the principal. Let's smudge before you go to bed. The next day, the school principal met with Naven and Kane and their parents, as well as Bear and Ben and their parents. He discussed the rules and consequences of bullying with Naven and Kane. "We don't take these situations lightly," said the principal. As Bear, Ben, and their parents talked with the school principal the next day, Bear thought about his grandma's words. Sometimes people make fun of what they don't understand. "I have an idea," said Bear. "Maybe Naven and Kane tease us because they don't understand our culture. What if we did a project so everyone could share their family's cultures?" It was a great idea. Bear and Ben's teachers shared the assignment with the class. Everyone would bring in pictures and items that explained the heritage and culture of their families. The teacher passed out display boards to the students. She explained that everyone's families would be invited to come watch the presentations next week. The next day, Bear's grandma was braiding his hair. "Guess what, Atika?" asked Bear. Let me see, said Grandma. You and Ben went on a UFO ride again? No, we went to the zoo and rode a buffalo, joked Bear. Actually, our meeting with the principal went well yesterday, and I remembered what you said. So Ben and I came up with an idea. Oh, really? What's your idea? Grandma asked. Everyone in our class is going to create a family project board where they can share things about their own families. Our teacher said it's a good way for all of us to get to know each other and understand where we come from. Canuck, that's a great idea, said Grandma. Mom and Dad are going to help me this weekend, exclaimed Bear. I could sure use your help too, Atika. Grandma nodded in agreement. Ha! It was finally the day for presentations. The other students in the class shared their boards about their own family cultures. Navin was Scottish, so he and his grandpa wore their clan kilts. Kane found out he had Scandinavian roots, and others shared their traditions and stories from places like Africa and China. Ben presented his board with his grandpa and explained that he is Hidatsa, part of the MHA nation. His Hidatsa name is Mesu, which means eagle. Ben presented in his ribbon shirt and brought in his hand drum that his grandpa helped him make. He sang a song while his grandpa stood and watched proudly. Bear was eager for his presentation as well. He wore his grass dance regalia and explained how most of the pieces were made from animals. His head roach was made from a porcupine, his armbands were made of deer hooves, his feather plumes were from an eagle, and his moccasins were made from moose hide. Bear's dad and cousins gathered around the big drum to sing while Bear danced for his class. It was apparent that the whole class put the time and effort into their projects by how creatively they were displayed. Everyone learned a lot from each other. On the bus ride home, David and Kane didn't say a word to Bear or Ben. They both sat together in their seat, happily discussing their kilt and shield that were used in their presentations. Bear and Ben sat satisfied in their seats. They marveled at their idea and how great everyone's presentations were. Back at home, Bear told his grandma all about his day. I am happy everything went well with the presentations, Canuck, said Grandma. I hope everyone has a better understanding of each other now, and that there is respect for each other. There is one thing that no one can take away from us, Canuck, our culture. The end. Thank you so much for reading Bear's Braid with me. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did, and I hope that you understand the importance of everyone respecting each other's culture and learning from each other. I look forward to reading more stories for you, so don't forget to check back often, and I hope you have a beautiful day.